If you love $9 Monday and $2 Tuesday, you're really going to appreciate our new Throwback Thursday when all daily packages are slashed in half. Yes, you heard right at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. All Thursday daily packages are now 50% off. This means that a 4% package will be only $12.50. A 5% top-rated play, normally priced at $35, will be only $17.50. And the hottest sales item of the day, get a full day of access from the handicappers of your choice. That's one day of every applicable play they release, including any 5% best bets, normally priced at $39, for only $19.50. The best part is you can come back every Thursday to take advantage of this limited time 50% off spring off.
Hello, guys. It is Tuesday, April 25th. That means it's time for another edition of Stoppage Time. I am Nick Borman of Sports Memo, filling in for Carmine, who is out today. We will miss him, but the show must go on, so we will cover the action going on this week. We do not have Champions League on the docket this week, but we do have some midweek Premier League matches to cover. Full slate of 10 games. We'll get to break down 4 of them. With the usual suspects who we'll bring in now to join. We got Brian Power and Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com here to talk some soccer. And, of course, Pavlos Lagaretos of Sports Memo. Premier League guys, La Liga, little midweek action. Otherwise pretty quiet this week, but I think there's money to be made. So we'll go around and see how everybody's doing. Brian, how are you, my friend? How was the weekend? And what do you have going on right now over at WagerTalk?
Well, MLB is on fire, guys. 5 straight winners, 15-4 last 19. Going back to last October, 45, 21, and 2 overall. That's plus 66.8 units, number 1 during that time. Very proud of that, obviously. Should have been a 3-0 sweep. Well, I think it should have been a 3-0 sweep on Monday overall, but an out-and-out gag by the Milwaukee Bucks, who were covering for 3.5 quarters last night, and they just fell apart, fell victim to Jimmy Butler. Maybe in 2 years or so, I'll appreciate the game Butler had last night. But, of course, the subject today is soccer. A lot of plays over the weekend, and we wound up splitting them 3-1 overall. Obviously, I brought up in the past, since the new year, I'd been number 1 with 4% or higher. Very disappointing loss Sunday with the 5% play on Gladbach. Union Berlin just has my number. They're one of those teams that may have to put them on the do not fade list. I guess you just tip your cap and say they've overachieved, and we'll get them next year, perhaps. But ready to tackle this midweek slate, Nick, and very excited about the matches we're breaking down today.
Union Berlin is the number 1 overachiever in Europe this year. So like Kevin and I will always say, eventually it's going to come for them. But yeah, we keep losing along the way. So hopefully we'll stop betting that. Kevin, let's go to you next. What's going on with you? How was this weekend?
Yeah, all good, Nick. Not much to say, really. We cashed a nice winner over the weekend on Javonte Davis to win by KO in the box, and that was a big 5% play there. I'm sure you were off watching ladies Malaysian golf or something instead of the boxing, but I couldn't resist some of the bigger props in that fight as well. We had Javonte Davis to win in rounds 9-12. I think that was around 6-1. Ryan Garcia to win by decision 8-1. I love sprinkling money on the wee props, which lost. So I won the big 5%, but lost a couple of 0.5%. There's 1% on the props. Outside of boxing, went 2-1 in the MLS yet again. Little frustrating. I know I should be happy with these 2-1 weeks. That's back to back. But the New York Red Bulls, I don't know if any of you guys were on that game. They kept us from the sweep with that own goal to start the game. A game in which they dominated on the numbers. But that doesn't. The books don't feel any sympathy for you if you're bringing an XG sheet to the window. So yeah, things are going pretty well overall right now. And we'll look to continue that run into the European midweek slate as well.
Yeah, roger that. I was on the under in that Red Bulls match, so I had a half winner there. But I feel your pain. Red Bulls keep doing that they've been doing that all season. So keep grinding in boxing. You've been doing awesome there, and MLS you continue to do well as well. So good luck as we move forward. Pavlos, what's going on with you, my friend? How was your past weekend?
I didn't have that many plays that past weekend, to be honest, because I went to the mountains with no reception. I didn't get any internet, just nothing. I just enjoyed the view, enjoyed myself, cleansed my brain, and I'm back at it today. with a La Liga 2-pack and a Colombian 3-pack. So I've been dabbling in this South American leagues, and it's been very, very profitable so far in the season. And Colombia, there's just 3 very good matches that I like. Of course, it's a weird week for European soccer because we got all these midweek matches, and these are always weird to predict. So be careful with those. But we're here to break it down for you, and hopefully you'll get some nice insights and some ways to avoid the traps.
Pavlos and his monthly cleanses. It seems to work well for him. It keeps him in the his spirits good and his mind sharp as we move through this long season. So good to have you on, Pavlos. Let's get to it, gentlemen. We have 4 matches to cover in the Premier League this week. So we'll go right to game 1. We are looking at Leeds and Leicester. This is a relegation battle. Big game here at the bottom of the table. Odds, as you can see on the screen. Leeds, a little bit of the favorites here, plus 110 on the money line, draw at plus 240. Leicester also at plus 240. So, again, 2 bottom of the table teams here, a lot on the line. I'm going to give my quick synopsis here before Kevin breaks it down a little further. You know, this is Leicester is tied with Everton, 28 points. They hold the goal differential right now. Leeds 1 point above on 29. When looking at defense, these teams are where they belong. Leeds have conceded 62 goals, better than only Bournemouth, 63 this year, and Leicester have allowed 56, with the only other team worse than them being Nottingham, other than the 2 teams I already mentioned. So we have 2 of the worst 4 teams here in terms of allowing goals. However, offensively, you can actually count on both sides to score, as both have scored over 40 goals compared to the bottom 3 sides, all in the mid-20s. So there is a little bit of separation there, at least on the offensive side, from these 3 teams than the bottom 3 teams. That being said, these are 2 of the highest over-under teams in the league. Both have 20 and 12 over records against 2.5 goals this year. Leeds has played to 7 straight overs. Both teams have scored in each. Leicester has finished over the total in 4 of their last 5, while 6 of their last 7 have seen both teams score. This is a winnable match for both. Neither can be trusted to hold a lead, and that's really what I'm looking at here is 2 bad defenses trying to win the game. And, you know, if you get a 1-0 lead, that's not going to hold, right? So you're going to keep pushing for goals, and you're probably going to concede along the way. So the over 2.5, you could keep this very simple. It's going to pay a little bit on the juice. I think it's pushing up to minus 130 or even a little higher at some books at this point. Over 2.75 is an option. I will go with the both teams to score and over 2.5 pairing. It's about even money, maybe a minus 105 at some books. And obviously you need both things to happen for it to cash, but the juice is a little bit lower in case they don't. So that's my prediction here. We're going to see goals. Kevin, I want to go to you next here for further breakdown. What are you thinking here in this match? Are you looking at the goals, or are you looking at a side here?
I just was about to grab my calendar, Nick, because I'm going to mark this day down as the day that I completely agree with you. You've made perfect sense. I'm fully on board. So, April 25th. That's we're going to celebrate that day next year. But yeah, look, you made all the points that I was going to make pretty much, because this is my favorite play for today in the EPL. I absolutely love the over 2.5 goals in this one. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, it isn't set at least 2.75. I can somewhat understand the reasoning behind it. You know, it is a huge relegation 6-pointer, as you mentioned. Those tend to be cagier affairs. But, You know, this isn't Everton versus Nottingham Forest. You know, try and get in the end of a set piece or a corner and hope you can hang on for a 1-0 win, as you said. The only way, Leeds or Leicester, the only way these 2 teams are going to stay up this season is through offense and outscoring their opponents, because these 2 teams simply cannot defend. You know, Leeds, you mentioned already a lot of the numbers. You know, Leeds ranked joint bottom in goals allowed at home this season. Leicester are 3rd from bottom in goals conceded on the road. Leeds have given up the most goals from open play this season. Leicester ranked 5th from bottom on set-piece goals allowed as well. So whatever way you slice this game, I just can't see it staying under the total on Tuesday. You know, 20 of Leeds' Premier League games this season have seen both teams find the back of the net. That's the highest frequency rate in the entire league. Similarly, you know, Leicester games have seen over 2.5 goals hitting 63% of all their matches this season. That's the 4th highest percentage rate in the league. So, you know, I do get the importance of this game for both teams, obviously with so much on the line in terms of going down. Battles between bottom six sides, as I said, are usually super cagey affairs, but I just can't be having it with these two teams. As you said, both teams will see this as a winnable game. So this game absolutely screams goals to me. I'm just going to keep it simple here. I like your play as well. But yeah, I'll pay a bit more. Just take the over 2.5 on this one. And really looking forward to this one from a fan point of view as well.
Obviously, couldn't agree with you more, Kevin. And did I mention how good you actually look today? So it's like a complimentary day. I don't know what's going on. I do have a quick question for you, Kev. Do you think your mind would be a little changed on the total if, what do we have, 6 or 7 matches left here in the season? What if we were on the, maybe not the last week, maybe the second to last week or the third to last week? Would you think a little differently on the total? Would that change it because there's less games to go, or you don't care?
I really don't think. I probably wouldn't influence me all that much, Nick, because, like we said, I think both of these teams know that they can't play defense. So that they just basically have to go for it, especially against each other because they're so fragile defensively. I think even if it was the third last week in the season, both teams are going to see this as 3 points. So I would expect both of them to go for it regardless.
Roger that. I agree. Kevin says both defenses suck. Keep it simple. Go for goals. All right. Good luck to you there, Kevin. Let's move on to match number 2. This one is Chelsea and Brentford. Chelsea, obviously the favorite right now, which I'm sure Brian will love to break it down as to why Chelsea would actually be a favorite over anybody in this world right now. But Chelsea minus 154 on the money line. Draw at plus 280. Brentford at plus 400. We're going to go to Bryan and Pavlos to break this one down. And Brian gets the honor. Carm, before he decided he was unable to host today, did the due honor of giving Brian the first dibs here to break this game down because he knows how much Brian loves breaking down Chelsea. So, Brian, take us away, my friend.
All right, guys. As much as we all have fun at Chelsea's expense, I was really looking forward to talking Brentford as I had them on the draw no bet line over the weekend against Aston Villa. They're up 1-0. And it was looking like they'd end Villa's 19-match run of scoring a goal, but they allow the late equalizer for what it's worth. For a short little bit, it looked like they had the game winner in the 90th minute, but that was waved off for offsides. It was a clear offsides, correct call there. So I had to settle for the push, but the Bees, they're probably happy with the result because, Villa, you guys all know this, they've been running quite hot in the league, 5-game winning run. So the fact that Brentford could take points from a match like that, they're happy. Now, Chelsea, again, they just a complete embarrassment really to the entire United Kingdom at this point. I don't know what else there is to say. We've run through these numbers week after week, 12 fewer goals than expected in league play, a horrible finishing run. I was in Vegas last week watching that Champions League second leg against Real Madrid. It was just comical, their inability to finish. They had 2 or 3 chances where I feel any other team in the world besides like Elche would have put it in the back of the net. Last 7 matches, 5 losses, 2 draws, and it is not getting better, I regret to inform Kevin, under Frank Lampard, who has used 4 different formations in his 4 matches now. I think he's just desperate for answers, and this is where you may really want to turn away, Kev. Going back to his time at Everton, Frank has won just 1 of his last 17 Premier League matches. If you are new to the program or soccer betting in general, that is not good at all. So I consider this to be an absurd price. I do not know how Brentford is plus 400. Pavlos can hit on this if he'd like, but relative to the other mid-table sides, guys, I just think Brentford week after week always feels undervalued and is not getting the proper amount of respect. I have them rated higher than Chelsea. All the metrics say they're a better team than Chelsea. They're the only team besides Brighton that has a positive expected goal difference against the big 6 EPL clubs this season. But here's the thing, as I was preparing to come on the show, if I say to take Brentford plus 400 here, I am fairly confident it's going to be a jigs and Chelsea will actually win. So the official lean for the show, and I think this is going to be a client play, is just grab the 3/4 of a goal. It was plus 1 at the open. I think those are all gone at this point. But I think Brentford can at least draw here, guys. And now that they're out of the Champions League and have a lame duck manager, I really wonder about Chelsea's motivation moving forward. So I think Brentford can at least escape with a point again, take them plus the 3/4 of a goal.
Yeah, Brian, it's hard to want to bet Chelsea right now. I mean, you said it, all the numbers favor Brentford, and the only thing that probably makes Chelsea a favorite right now is their name, right? And I always try to say, bet the numbers, not the name. So I agree with your play there. I just don't want to put my money behind Chelsea at this point until they've proven they can do anything. And listen, if Frank Lampard needs a new an agent for him for his next job, I think Kevin Dolan will be the perfect guy. There is nobody, even at one win in those last 17 matches, nobody could sell that guy better than Kevin Dolan. So, Frank, if you're listening in, maybe reach out to Kevin on the side. He can probably land you that next job. He's your biggest fan out there. Pavlos, let's go to you next. How you looking at this Chelsea-Brentford match?
The price on Chelsea just went up a little bit. It's now at minus 135-ish or something like that, but it's still, is it possible? Yes. I'm not going to bet it? No. I mean, not even Ivan Toney himself won't bet Chelsea in that money line. Chelsea, they're struggling a lot right now. Out of the Champions League, literally not literally nothing to fight for. To be honest, they're still, 9 points behind? It's like 14 points behind. So they have only theoretical chances to make it, to take anything from a European ticket for next season. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe one of the big teams gets hit with a fire or something. But just a miserable season for Chelsea. There's literally no reason for you to get involved in betting on Chelsea at these low prices. If anything, yes, you should fade them. However, I think, it's a strange match. I don't know how Chelsea will react after their elimination from the Champions League. However, there is one stat that really caught my eye. Chelsea in first halves at home in the EPL, they have 3 wins, 11 draws, and 2 losses. So they don't really lose that easily. Yes, they don't win that easily either, but they've lost just 2 first halves at home all season. And during that span, they scored just 5 goals and conceded just 3. So their first halves at home, they're really slow. Not many goals. They don't really win that easily, but they also don't lose that easily. Now they play against the Brentford side that they're not very good in away first halves, with just 2 wins, 7 draws, and 7 losses, scoring 8, conceding twice as many, conceding 15 goals. So, again, you don't have to get involved in this match, but if you do, I would suggest taking a first half bet on Chelsea minus a quarter goal. When I did the write-up, it was at minus 125. Now it shot up to minus 110. I think I like it even better. It's just a small stake bet from me, but I think that's the only way to get involved in this match. Or, of course, you can fade them, as Brian said, which is, just stay away from Chelsea's money line at this low price. Just stay away.
As you're breaking it down, I thought you were going to go to. It sounded like you were going to go to first half draw or even under based on Chelsea's kind of stats for there. But you're going with the laying a quarter goal. So as we know, that means if the game or the halftime score is tied, that would just be a half loss on your wager, as minus 0.25 is that split Asian line of pick'em and minus a half. So good luck to you there, Pavlos. We'll keep moving on before we get to our third game of the day. I want to quick mention that today is Tuesday. So that, of course, means it's $2 Tuesday. And at WagerTalk, we have Jimmy Adams with an MLB play today. And over at Sports Memo, there are 3 cappers all at $2, or you can get them all 3 for $5. And that includes Ross Benjamin with an NBA play today, Buster Sports and Ray Monahan each with an MLB play. So lots of good options there today, either at WagerTalk or Sports Memo. For $2, you can grab 1 play, or at Sports Memo, you can grab all 3 cappers for just $5 and take advantage of being Tuesday. So good luck there, guys. And we will move on to our third match of the show, and that is West Ham and Liverpool. We'll put the odds up here on the screen. We are looking at West Ham plus 300 as a home dog, the draw at plus 250, and Liverpool, the road favorites, at minus 110. Kevin, I'm going to go to you first on this one. We have Liverpool. We've talked about them all year. What's going to happen? What are they really fighting for? Do they even have a chance at a top 4 at this point anymore? Or do they care that they could qualify for the Europa? I really kind of struggling to understand what their motivation is going to be here the rest of the way in. But West Ham, Liverpool, what are you thinking of this match?
Well, just to revisit the weekend, I actually had Bournemouth. Didn't end up playing it, but I had them on my shortlist against this West Ham side. Dodged a bullet there. But I have been impressed with Gary O'Neill since he came in at Bournemouth. I liked his business in the January transfer window. I like the way he's got Bournemouth working in games. They're finding ways to grind out results. But something put me off that game mainly because I watched West Ham in the Europa Conference League against Ghent, and I was very impressed. It just felt like West Ham had finally turned a corner. They look an awful lot more threatening now going forward. So I switched the play in that game to the both teams to score around -115. First half in that game, I'm thinking it's an absolute banker. It was pretty much end to end. West Ham came out firing, absolutely ran over Bournemouth 3-0 at the half, but Bournemouth couldn't get a single goal in reply, despite hitting the woodwork late on and all that. So to see 4 goals in that game and not cash at both teams to score was a little frustrating. But it just goes to show you how good West Ham are now. I don't want to overreact necessarily to a couple of results, but they're certainly passing the eye test for me over recent games. Like we said, they put 4 goals past Bournemouth. They put 4 goals past Ghent. Probably even more impressive was the way they're 2-0 down against Arsenal, roared back into that game. If that was West Ham, pre-March, they might have just laid down. There seems to be more fight in them now. So I have been impressed with them. They look to have found their purple patch at kind of just the right time, at least in terms of avoiding relegation. So, getting a half-goal head start in this game at home in a venue, despite all their struggles, they've only lost 1 game of their last 9 in London. So I'm going to take the plus half-goal head start here all day. Liverpool are coming off back-to-back wins themselves. Fair enough over recent games, but they looked abysmal defensively against Forest at the weekend. They couldn't seem to shore up that defense at all against one of the worst attacking teams in the league. And away from home this year, we all know they've struggled as well. It's been even worse for them. Just 16 of Liverpool's 50 points generated this season have come on the road. Just 4 wins away from home all season. They rank 5th from bottom on defensive XG away from home as well. So the stats back those poor results up for Liverpool also. So, to price them up here as favourites against a West Ham team who look like they finally got their act together in my mind. Mikel Antonio scored in back-to-back games. Lucas Paqueta scored in back-to-back games. I just can't be having Liverpool going off at this kind of price odds on here. So, for me, when you look at the table, you're going to see West Ham struggling. But I think you need to kind of forget about that now. West Ham are a top half team in the table in terms of ability and talent. Their midfield is so talented. Obviously, they haven't shown it for the majority of the season, but I do expect them to show it here on Wednesday in a game. In my opinion, they get at least a draw in. So, West Ham plus a half a goal for me.
I like the choice, Kevin. I like it even more considering West Ham's win over AFC Richmond just weeks ago on Ted Lasso, if you're a follower of that show. Fake team with Richmond, but West Ham is in that as well. Listen, when it comes to Liverpool, it was easy to lay goals with that team when their defense was their defense, and it was the best in the Premier League. But where they are now, I just never like laying anything on a team that just does not have their defense together. And sure, you can look at Liverpool's last 4 results and say, all right, well, they got points from each of their last 4, 2 wins and 2 draws, but that defense is still concerning. They conceded 3 in 3 of their last of those 4 matches, including against Leeds and Nottingham. The only match they kept a clean sheet was Chelsea, of all teams, but as Brian mentioned too earlier, it doesn't really matter who plays Chelsea. Somebody's going to keep a clean sheet against those guys. But they surprisingly did allow over 2 expected goals to the Blues in that match. So if it was anybody else, we know they would have scored, but just not Chelsea. So they are giving up chances, and I just hate to lay a number on Liverpool. So I agree with you, Kevin. I don't like playing Liverpool here. If I'm going to take the side, I would go with West Ham. But instead, I'll pivot and talk about the total and kind of do the same play I did in the first match I previewed, and that's taking both teams to score and over 2.5 just as a way to buy down the price on the total in this match. I already mentioned Liverpool's defense, so I fully expect them to concede here to West Ham, but I do like Liverpool to score. As much as they've struggled defensively, they're still second in the Premier League in expected goals at over 2.1 per 90 minutes. So it's not like that's been their struggle this year. So I fully expect them to be on the board. West Ham, Kevin, you mentioned how good of a run of form they are on. Just one loss in their last 10 matches, including matches versus Arsenal and Newcastle. Newcastle, of course, was the loss. West Ham has the lowest over-under record in the league, I guess is the only warning I have. 10 overs and 21 unders. But versus even the two bigger sides they've played in their latest run, Arsenal match had 4 goals and the Newcastle match had 6. They can beat Fulham, they can beat Southampton by scores of 1-0, but it's not going to happen against Liverpool. So I do see both teams getting on the board, and I think at least another is going to be in this game. So I like both teams to score and over 2.5. You can get this with low juice at maybe minus 105 or so. And Kevin likes West Ham, so that's where we're looking at for that match. And we will move on to our final match of the show. And this is the big one of the weekend. This is it. We've joked about Arsenal for years and years and years, and we said this, at the beginning of the year, we're like, Arsenal will crash, Arsenal will crash, Arsenal will crash. Maybe it's happening. A couple of lot drop points here in their last couple of games. Man City obviously surging, just, easily getting past Bayern in the Champions League. They're winning everything right now. Is this the game that flips the Premier League table, guys? Is this finally when we see Man City get back to the top? Obviously, I know they can't just with this match, but with games in hand, you think they would be able to turn the table here. So that's the question. Man City versus Arsenal. If we look at the odds here, it's Man City minus 175. And please, somebody tell me a time you remember the number one team in the table this late in the season being plus 425 underdogs, because I don't. And the draw is setting up at plus 320. So that tells you right there what the odds makers think about this match. So, Pavlos, let's go to you first here to break it down. We'll let Brian bring it home. What do you think for Man City and Arsenal?
I do see goals here. And Arsenal, we've been joking about their Jenga tower for the entire season. It's kind of happening with, 3 draws in the last 3. Their defense is in shambles. They have some major defensive issues right now. Even just 3 clean sheets in their last 17 matches. They conceded 2+ goals in 8 of those 17 matches, and in each of the last 3. And, they conceded a lot of goals against teams like Southampton, West Ham, and Bournemouth, for heaven's sake. I mean, their defense gets exposed by players like Philip Billing and Theo Walcott. What year is this? I mean, what do you think is going to happen when De Bruyne and Haaland are going to face them? So, City, they're in really good form right now. Scored 2+ goals in 10 of the last 12 matches in all competitions. A total of 41 goals, or an average of 3.4 goals per match. They've been ecstatic at home so far in the season, scoring 3+ goals in 19 of 26 home matches and in each of the last 6. And they also scored 4+ goals in 11 of 26 home matches. So, Arsenal's defense is really bad right now. They're conceding goals left and right, even against the unlikeliest of opponents. They're already missing Saliba, who is one of their top defenders this season. They're also missing Tomiyasu, who I don't really trust that much, but these are 2 defenders that are supposed to be starters. And they're also missing midfield anchor Granit Xhaka. He's one of their best midfielders. Also as a defensive midfielder, but also as a creative midfielder. So, who's going to land into tackles with no regard for human life? He's the one that does that. And somebody's going to stop De Bruyne's finesse and Haaland's, whatever he has, everything. So, who's going to do that? Probably Partey, who I consider to be carded at plus 200. But those are some crucial absences for an already shaky Arsenal defense. So, sign me up for goals here. I'm taking the combo of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, plus 100. Really don't care who wins. So if you can't find that prop, or if you can't build that prop, you can pivot to the over 3 goals, but with a small chance of a push. So I like goals here.
I don't care who wins. Pavlos' famous tagline, of course. He's expecting goals here in the Man City-Arsenal clash. Brian? I wonder what you're thinking here. Are you going to be pivoting towards the side, or are you also looking at the goal line in this one?
I'm torn, Nick, because as a fan, you love a match like this, right? It's all on the line. It's the biggest match of the week, like you mentioned. We'll all be tuned in Wednesday afternoon, evening for some. But as a handicapper, I kind of hate it because the eyes and common sense are telling us one thing, right? City is about to rip the Premier League title right from Arsenal's grasp. But you mentioned it, Nick, at the top. looking at the match from a market perspective, there has just been a dramatic shift, and there's just not a ton of value left on City to just win. And here, now, the numbers are the numbers, and the shift is not without justification, the market shift. Man City, guys, is the best team in the world. There is absolutely no disputing that. Unbeaten the last 16 matches. They've won 13 of them. Each of the last 2 weeks we've been on the show. And we marvel at the price against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, right? What do? They destroy Bayern 3-0 in the first leg, and then they were a road favorite in Germany. Yes, that ends in a 1-1 draw, but you have to wonder how interested City was once they were up 4-0 on aggregate. Here at the Etihad, City, they've played 12 times in 2023. What have they done? They've won all of them. And they've scored 2 goals or more in 11 of those 12 wins. The lone exception, ironically, though, was against Arsenal, 1-0 in the FA Cup back in January. Following that result, though, the teams play at the Emirates in February. City wins there 3-1. That's their 11th straight victory over Arsenal in league play. And really, Nick, I know you look at these charts, you make them, for crying out loud. We shouldn't be surprised that City is approaching the top of the table, right? Because the underlying metrics have said City is the better team most of the year. They're ahead in XGD, they're ahead in expected points. And then you turn to Arsenal, as Pavlos mentioned, it's just fallen apart defensively. First 18 games, they conceded only 14 goals. They had 9 clean sheets. Last 14 games, they've conceded 20 goals and just 3 clean sheets. XG data backs up the regression as well. Over the last 3 weeks, they've twice blown 2-goal leads and had to settle for draws. Last week, my goodness, they fall behind Southampton 3-1. Yes, they rescued a draw, but they can't be happy with the end result, and their confidence is probably shattered. So I absolutely believe City's going to win Wednesday. But do I want to play them at this price on the 3-1 line? Not really. I don't really want to lay the goal either, because that loss in February is the only league match all season where Arsenal has lost by more than 1 goal. Only time. The only other 2 times all season, any competition, Arsenal was beaten by multiple goals. 3-1 by Brighton in the FL Cup back in November, and then 2-0 by PSV in the Europa League group stage, which was back in October. So while Arsenal is struggling, they don't get beaten by more than a goal very often. The total, Pavlos hit on this. The odds makers have adjusted here as well. It was 2.5 the last time they played. Now it's 3. So this is what we're going to do. It's a pretty square parlay, but I think it makes sense. City to win, over 2.5, Haaland to score anytime. Haaland didn't score Saturday. They took him off in the 68th minute because the match with Sheffield United was well in hand at that point. It is not often, guys. He goes back-to-back matches without scoring. Last time that happened, February 28th and March 4th. So almost 2 months ago since Haaland went 2 in a row without scoring. So once again, that's City to win, over 2.5. Haaland, anytime goal scorer. You can get that at DraftKings, pays plus 155. That's the play.
I like it, Brian. And yeah, what is Haaland's total at now? Like 45, 46, 47 goals on the year? It's really remarkable. So I do like that parlay, and it lines up with Pavlos expecting some goals here. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, and he's minus 200 to score tomorrow.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. Wow. So, the odds makers are expecting him to get on the score sheet. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, no matter what you obviously know he's coming, and you know they're going to feed it to him, but it doesn't matter. All he needs is that slight touch, and he's the best finisher in the game. So good luck on that same game parlay. Definitely like that, and it lines up with Pavlos also thinking goals in that match. Either way, like you said, Brian, we're all going to be watching it. It's going to be a fun match regardless. We'll see what happens later on our next show if we talk about a surprise going down in that game. So that's our 4 matches for the show. We'll do a quick roundtable recap and talk about what everybody's got up on their pages going on right now. Kevin, we'll go to you first. We'll get your plays up on the screen and let the viewers know what you have going on over your page at WagerTalk.
Yeah, we got 3 plays loaded up in the EPL for today, Nick. All 3 games are, our client plays, I should say. So pick up a 1-day pass if you want access to those. We have an EPL 2-pack loaded up for tomorrow as well. Nice little run going in the EPL right now. Also, cashed 23 of the last 35 EPL sides, so pretty happy with that. Looking to continue that this week as well. And we'll look to get Thursday's card loaded up sometime later today as well. So maybe the best option actually is to pick up a 3-day soccer pass for $49 and get everything we release in England and Spain across the next 3 days.
Excellent, excellent. Good luck to you, Kevin. Plays we did not get them up on the screen. Maybe we do not have them. So we'll move to Pavlos next. Pavlos, what do you have going on over at on your page at Sports Memo?
Okay, today's Tuesday, so I have 5 plays actually for tonight. I have a La Liga 2-pack and a Colombian 3-pack with plays on the sides and the totals. No, you can find those everywhere. I've also discounted both packages, so I want everybody to get paid because I got another big play on Thursday in the La Liga. 4% best bet, also available in all big sports books. So super excited about these midweek matches. I'm gonna have more plays for tomorrow, but I'm gonna do some research after the show. So 5 plays for tonight and 1 play for Thursday.
Okay. Good luck. And we do not have the graphics for the recaps, but I'll give a quick recap for you. Kevin is on Leeds and Leicester over 2.5 in our first preview. And then he's also on West Ham plus a half a goal over Liverpool. Pavlos taking Chelsea first half minus a quarter of a goal. Brave man there. And then the big match of the week, Man City and Arsenal, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. So good luck to you, Pavlos. Bryan, let's go to you here next. What do you have going on over your page at WagerTalk?
Yeah, guys, obviously the EPL dominated today's discussion, but don't forget about La Liga. Like these guys said, I actually like the La Liga midweek schedule a lot better than I do the Premier League, and it starts today. I got to play in La Liga ready. That leads a 4-play card for Tuesday. Got 2 in MLB and then 1 in the NBA playoffs. Like I said at the top, MLB running red hot, 15-4 last 19, 5-0 last 5, 68% going back to last October, plus 66.8 units. So we're looking for the 4-0 sweep on Tuesday, guys. Wednesday and Thursday, soccer, which will be a mix of EPL and La Liga. That should be up this afternoon as we look to start the week off right, man.
All right. Yeah, I do like that La Liga card going on this week as well, Bryan. So good luck to you there. Bryan, as a reminder, is on Brentford, plus 3/4 of a goal, and that is going against Chelsea. And then he did the same game parlay available at DraftKings. City to win, over 2.5 goals, and Haaland to get on the score sheet, plus 155, were Bryan's leans for the show. My leans for today were both the same, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in each of the Leeds, Leicester, and West Ham Liverpool match. Right now over at my page at Sports Memo, I have a best bet going for today, Tuesday, in the Premier League, and I'll have more matches going as the week goes on. I do also have this week's golf pack up, special discounted price just for Kevin as well, because I know he loves to get involved in that. But that is available right now with, of course, first tee time, always on Thursday. So that's it, guys. That's the show. Carmine, we missed you, of course, this week, but he will be back here in the hosting seat on Thursday for our next edition at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Until then, make sure to subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Hit that like button. I always like to mention Kevin gets paid on those likes during this show, so make sure we get him paid here. Hit that like button, and we will see you guys back here Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.